Welcome to Designs in Nature, Leaves and Cones for ELF at Mitchell Elementary. This is Center 4.
Alrighty, Center 4 has two parts to it, spin the cone and leaf rubbing. And so as a group of volunteers for your classroom are deciding how you want to run your ELF in your classroom, you can absolutely take this and divide it into two, or borrow the leaf rubbing and put it with Center 1 or Center 2, or if it turns out to be a bad weather day, you could borrow leaf rubbing and stick it with the outdoor Center 2. So, spin the cone and leaf rubbing. Spin the cone is all about focusing on examining and observing the differences between pine cones and the branches that they match to. And so you're going to start by quick discussion, the difference between deciduous and evergreen trees. Deciduous trees obviously lose their leaves. Evergreens keep their leaves, which are their needles. And then you can emphasize that the same way deciduous trees are identified by their leaves, evergreen trees are identified by their leaves, and how they're clustered, how long they are, and what shape they each are. Spin the cone is a game. So after you've got a kind of quick, brief discussion about that, there are handouts to do that discussion that talk about different cone shapes and the needles. And there's an example in here of a developing red pine twig. We do not have red pines in Colorado, but our program comes from Vermont. But this is a great illustration of how how the tree develops, and then the cones develop from there, and the parts. The 1-year-old cone, the 2-year-old cone, the male and female parts. So after you've gone over that part, and there are various useful handouts, further demonstrations, all in these packets, you can move on to the game. You can now in the outline it tells you while you're playing the game to discuss the pollination, and I think I might discuss it before, but these are the specific laminated pages that it refers to in the outline. And again, they're all in a specific packet that tells you that. All right, so the game consists of cards that all have pine cones on them and a description, a set of clues. For instance, Engelmann spruce. I have single needles that are 3/4 of an inch to 1 1/4 of an inch long. My needles are soft and flexible, and they have a bluish green color. My cones grow on the upper half of my tree, and they are about 3 inches long. So, to play the game, there's cards for all the different kinds of branches: ponderosa pine, blue spruce, a Douglas fir. You would need to. I'm going to go down here on your floor.
Okay.
You would need to take all your cards, and there's a pine cone spinner, and you lay them all around the spinner, and the Ziplocs to hopefully keep them in one piece, but if one breaks, just please let us know. And so each student would take turns spinning the pine cone spinner, and so this one points to Colorado spruce or blue spruce, and you read the clue. And my tree is the Colorado state tree. The needles are single. They're 1/2 inch to 1 inch long. They're very stiff and sharp. I get my name from the color of my needles, which are bluish green to silver blue. I would then have the students come and look at, you would be holding your adult key, which might be on a larger piece of paper, laminated by the time it comes to you. On the adult key, it says which branch is what. And so students would have to go, well, which one of these looks silvery bluish? Which one has, for instance, this one is in, I don't know if you guys can see it, but this is a cluster of needles of leaves.
How many are in there? 5?
There's 3 in this cluster.
Oh yeah, 3.
Yeah, 3 in this cluster. This one, each needle is coming out of its own spot in the branch. So these are single. And before these sat out in the sun, this was silvery blue. So in fact, this, because I am such an expert on this particular thing, goes with this card, and I would take that and you would lay the branch and the card together, and then you'd play the next round of the game. And another kid would spin, and whatever card that pointed to, you'd go on from there. A couple of them I don't have cones for. The pines and the firs are producing their cones right now, and so if you happen to have a Colorado pinion or a bristlecone pine cone in your yard, feel free to donate it. We'd love that. Also, based on my experience, I cut these branches within probably like about 7 days ago, some of them 5 days ago, and then I left them on my porch in the hot weather. And so you might, if the ones that you depend on in the elf bin might be discolored a little bit, you might want to bring in some examples if you happen to have them or knowledge of them of your own. That might help illustrate it better. But generally speaking, the clues will match the branch even if the color is off a little. There's characteristics like size and what the needle feels like when you roll it in your finger. And there's a sheet in here that's really can be a great introduction that talks about how firs are friendly and flat, and pines, let me see, here we go, this is the one. This is the Durango Nature Studies. Pines come in packages. When you shake hands with a pine, you find the needles growing in packages or bundles. Sharp, square spruces. So spruce trees, shake hands with a spruce, you'll never forget how sharp the needles were. And then flat, friendly, fragrant firs. So this might even help you as you look around your own yard to bring in samples. And that's pretty much spin the cone. And hopefully you're, again, getting the students to really be close scientific observers of the needles that go with evergreen trees and their cones. Part 2 is leaf rubbings. And this is a craft take-home. Students need to put their name on it. I'd have them write leaf rubbings on it so that if you want to, or they don't, I guess you don't have to. You can go bring some leaves. You need to bring leaves for this activity. Whoever runs it needs to bring leaves. I'd bring, like it says, 20 to 30 fresh leaves. And then you will take a fresh leaf and put the leaf under.
Where will the paper be for this craft?
The paper will be in the classroom for this craft.
Okay.
You need to just ask the teacher for some paper, and there will be crayons in the bin that you can use. So you'll take your leaf and lay it down, you put your paper on it, and then with a crayon, just rub across.
Did you put that leaf down vein side up?
Yes, I did. Good clue. Yay. If you put it vein side down, there's really not a lot to that leaf. If you put it vein side up, then it's really great illustrations. And this one is labeled, like this is a hosta that has the parallel, the aspen leaf, which I believe is pinnate. The maple, which is, no, this is palmate and pinnate. And so if you have, there's a guidebook in here, Trees of Colorado, you can use to help label, help the kids label trees, or if you happen to have some knowledge ahead of time of what you've brought in, that's always helpful too.
So these are labeled by kind of species name, and then the vein pattern, and then finally the margins, which is the outside edges.
Right, yeah, this outside edge.
Good.
So like this one has very smooth, so it's toothless.
Mm-hmm.
And this is encouraging them to just, again, observe and know a little bit about the leaves and have a great take-home project to help us advertise ELF and all the great things that the kids are doing related to the curriculum in school. So,
And as a parent volunteer, you want to collect all these in one pile and give them to the teacher at the end of class. Do not have the kids go to their backpack or desks in between. It's just too chaotic. So collect them all and give them to the teacher for the Friday folder.
Yep. And I believe that's it for Center 4. If you have any questions, you can email us at mitchellelf@gmail.com. Thanks.